There's an old saying that goes, "When the dead speak, you listen." But what if they didn't speak in whispers from the beyond? What if they called you directly? What if their voice rang through the silence of your home in the dead of night? This is the terrifying story of the voice on the phone, a chilling legend that has haunted a certain apartment building for decades. Residents in this building have received strange phone calls from an unknown number, and when they pick up, they hear a familiar voice, their own voice, repeating their last words as if they were already dead. But it doesn't end there. Once you hear it, you're not just haunted. You're doomed to experience something horrifying within the next 48 hours. Tonight, we dive deep into the mystery behind the strange calls, the voices from beyond, and why some believe they might be warnings of impending disaster. It all started in an old apartment building in a quiet neighborhood, far from the bustling center of the city. The residents of this building were used to the occasional oddities of life in an aging structure. Creaking floors, drafty windows, and the strange sounds of pipes groaning in the night. But one night, something different happened. A phone call came through. It wasn't from a family member, a friend, or even a business. It was from an unknown number. At first, it seemed like nothing unusual. A missed call. Maybe a telemarketer. But when they picked up, the voice they heard was their own. The person's own voice, calm, unhurried, repeating their last words. The words they spoke in their own life, words they might have said earlier that day, or even years ago. But there was a chilling twist. It was as if they had already died, and their last words were being repeated by a ghostly echo, trapped in time. One resident, named Sarah, experienced this firsthand. She picked up the phone, expecting to hear a sales pitch or a wrong number. But what she heard instead was her own voice, clear as day. "Why did I say that?" she muttered. But as the voice on the other end repeated, her blood ran cold. The voice was saying things she remembered, but she hadn't spoken them in years. Phrases that had long been forgotten. And that's when the horror set in. The first call was terrifying enough, but it didn't stop there. Soon, more residents began receiving similar calls. The apartment building, once filled with the noise of everyday life, grew quiet as the strange phenomenon spread. More people heard their own voices, voices that seemed to come from beyond the grave, warning them of something terrible. Some of the residents were too scared to pick up the phone at all, but no one was truly safe. The legend says that the call always comes in the dead of night, usually between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m., when the world is asleep and the air is heavy with silence. But it wasn't just the fact that they heard their own voice that scared people. It was what came next. Once you hear the voice, the legend says that you're doomed. You have 48 hours, just 2 days, to figure out what's coming, or you'll face a horrifying fate. Could be an accident, an illness, or something far worse. But whatever it is, it always comes, and it's always terrifying. Some say that the voice is a warning, sent from the other side by the dead, trying to help the living avoid some horrific fate. But others believe the call isn't a warning at all. They say it's a curse, an omen that the moment you hear the call, you've already sealed your fate. No one knows who or what makes these calls. It's not a telemarketer, and it's not a glitch in the phone system. Some believe the phone calls are the work of spirits, souls trapped in a limbo between life and death, trying to communicate with the living before their own final moments. Others suggest that these calls are not from the dead at all, but from a malevolent force that exists outside of time. This being, whatever it may be, knows your fate before you do, and it sends these calls to remind you that no one escapes what's coming. But one theory stands out among the rest. What if the voice is you? What if the phone call is not a message from the dead, but rather a warning from your own subconscious? A part of you that knows something terrible is about to happen, something your conscious mind refuses to acknowledge? People who've received these strange phone calls report experiencing a heightened sense of paranoia. They start to second-guess their every move, wondering if it's the call that caused their misfortune, or if they were simply doomed from the start. Could it be that we all have some kind of dark connection to the unknown? Is this phone call merely an echo of our own fear? But even the skeptics couldn't deny that something unexplainable was happening. I spoke to several former residents of the apartment building. Some have since moved out, while others are too afraid to speak on the record. But I managed to find a few who are willing to share their terrifying experiences with the voice on the phone. One woman, Clara, described her own encounter with the call. "I thought it was just a prank," she said, her voice shaking. "But when I picked up, it was like hearing myself talking, but I hadn't said those words in years. I was so scared that I hung up, but the damage was done." Over the next 48 hours, strange things started happening to me. My car broke down, my fridge stopped working, and then my neighbor's dog attacked me. I was in the hospital the next day. Clara's experience was just one of many. Others report more ominous signs, like feeling a presence watching them after receiving the call, or having vivid nightmares that seem to come true. So what exactly is going on? Is this just a curse that haunts the building? Or is there something much deeper at work? Could these calls be a way for the dead to warn us of our impending doom? Or are they a signal that something far darker is lurking just beneath the surface? The truth behind the voice on the phone remains a mystery. Whether it's a warning from the dead, an echo from our subconscious, or something much more sinister, one thing is for sure: if you hear the call, you only have 48 hours to figure out what's coming. So, the next time your phone rings in the middle of the night, don't be so quick to pick up. It might be a voice from the past, or a warning of something far worse. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this chilling tale, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss another story from the darker corners of the world. Until next time, be careful and remember, when the phone rings in the dead of night, it might be the voice you least expect.